Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear. To support and defend. The Constitution of the United States. Against all enemies. Foreign and domestic. And to bear true faith. And allegiance to the same. That I will obey. The orders of. The President of the United States. And the orders of. Those officers. Appointed over me. According to regulations. And the Uniform Code of Military Justice. So help me God.
We celebrate Veterans Day on the anniversary of the armistice that ended World War I. The armistice that began on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. The timing of this holiday is quite deliberate in terms of historical fact. But somehow it always seems quite fitting to me that this day comes deep in autumn, when the colors are muted and the days seem to invite contemplation. It is, in a way, an odd thing to honor those who died in defense of our country, in defense of us, in wars far away. The imagination plays a trick. We see these soldiers in our mind as old and wise, but most of them were boys when they died, and they gave up two lives, the one they were living and the one they would have lived. When they died, they gave up their chance to be husbands and fathers and grandfathers. They gave up their chance to be revered old men. They gave up everything for our country, for us. And all we can do is remember. I will not fail thee, nor forsake thee. In memory of those who gave the last full measure of devotion, may our efforts to achieve lasting peace gain strength. Let us make a vow to our dead. Let us show them by our actions that we understand what they died for. Strengthened by their courage, heartened by their value, and borne by their memory, let us continue to stand for the ideals for which they lived and died.
In the long history of the world, only a few generations have been granted the role of defending freedom in its hour of maximum danger. I do not shrink from this responsibility. I welcome it. I do not believe that any of us would exchange places with any other people or any other generation. The energy, the faith, the devotion which we bring to this endeavor will light our country and all who serve it. We shall pay any price, bear any burden, meet any hardship, support any friend, oppose any foe to assure the survival and the success of liberty.
What is up, Titans Nation? Welcome in to the 615. It's your host, Lee Hillis, and you see the guy sitting right here, right next to me, Tyler King. What up, TK?
What up? Happy Veterans Day to all the veterans out there. We appreciate you. We want you to know that a lot comes from that. We all know that. We all really, really appreciate you. So we want everybody to know that. That's why we did the little video to start with, because that's what's important today.
But it's been a minute. It's been a minute since we've been together.
Actually, the first time me and you actually took a little hiatus for about like a week or so.
Yeah, because of course
somebody got sick.
I was sick of the dog.
Hey,
so
it's going around.
We
man.
didn't
it's
get to go. Yeah. We didn't get to go into New England. We didn't get to preview the game we're actually recapping tonight.
Yeah, so we'll touch on that a little bit too, as well.
But there are three highlights from this New England game that I want to start off with.
At least it's positive because we did win this game the last week. So, like, yes, go ahead.
So we're going 3 straight videos in a row.
Absolutely.
May scanning and throwing. It's intercepted. Picked off by Tennessee's Armani Hooker down to the 40-yard line. Today, can they pay it off? On a reverse, Ridley back to Rudolph. He's going to throw it. Okonkwo inside the 10. First and goal, Tennessee. 21 yards under the big. Hasty in on first down. May. Rolling, throwing back, down the field, intercepted. The second for Armani Hooker ends the ball game.
Yeah, and hey, you know that last interception that everybody just saw sealed the game, but obviously that was it still wasn't, and Titans didn't make anything easy that game. You know, they got their second win of the season last week, but hey, Hooker looked good. He had 2 picks.
Man, what about the trickery on that?
Yeah, I know. I'm like, where's that been? Yeah. And like I said, Chig's not even getting targeted hardly this year, which we'll get into stats and stuff later, but Chig's barely even been like targeted. So that's, but anyway, if you want to get into
we do have a new surprise for everybody.
Oh, we actually do. Surprise. Go ahead, Lee.
First, let's start off giving a shout out to one of our 2 partners, SeatGeek. You can use our code 615podcast. That is 615 PODCAST at checkout for $20 off your first order of $50 or more on SeatGeek.com or on the SeatGeek app. And of course, you can find all of this that I just read down in the description. But you can also find the other link to our other partner / affiliate, Expedia.
There it is, and that is brand new as of this week. They have decided to partner with us as well. Real quick, before Lee gives y'all the code to all of that, y'all know Christmas is coming up. I know we kind of like talked about it earlier in a post that we both posted today, but you got holidays coming up. You got Thanksgiving. You've got Christmas.
44 days.
44 days till Christmas. So tickets for people you want to buy, even if you're planning a trip to see your loved ones. Lee will keep going with the code to Expedia, but just remember that don't forget about us. Don't forget about us.
All it is,
we got you.
Just click the link.
just click the link to Expedia in the description, which it's everything that I set up. Like, it's like if you're going to a Titans game, and like, let's say Washington, let's say you're going to the game at Washington, you can go through that, and there's hotels in that link. There's hotels in Nashville, for like if you're coming for like the Vikings, the Jags, the Bengals, the Texans.
Or even if you want to buy concert tickets for somebody.
Exactly. If you're going to Houston, when we play Houston, there's hotels in there for Indianapolis, for Jacksonville. But you don't have to select one of those. You can go into just anywhere and search where you're going. So Titans went to the West Coast and failed.
That's a tough one. That was another tough one, man, because once again, we kind of saw a little bit of promise again. And
from young Will.
Or just the Titans in general in the first half, and then, what transpired.
Yeah.
So.
But Titans fall on the West Coast 7-17 to the Chargers, presented by SeatGeek and Expedia. But we had hinted on that we were going to hit on some of this New England game. The win against New England didn't come without injuries.
It did not.
We lost Lloyd Cushenberry and Quandre Diggs for the season. Lloyd Cushenberry is out for the year with an Achilles injury. And typically when you hear that Achilles, it's most likely a rupture of the Achilles.
You're done. Yeah.
Quandre Diggs is out for the year with what's known as a Liz Frank injury.
That one's an interesting one to me. We talked about it. I know you've got but yeah, that one's odd to me. I thought it was more of a bone thing, but it sounds like it's more of a ligament type situation.
So here's what the Cushenberry injury is.
That's your classic. Yeah, that's
just your classic rupture or tendon tear in the Achilles. That's 10 months to recover.
Yeah. This one, on the other hand.
So you see right where your metatarsals are, which is basically the middle and up where your toes are. It's the bones that run right in the middle of the foot. So when you have this Liz Frank injury, it basically the whole middle of your foot shifts, and it causes fractures in there. It causes the ligament between just behind your first metatarsal and on your second metatarsal to tear, and that's why it's season ending.
Yeah. Which, Diggs, it's hard to, injuries are going to hurt any team, and they hurt us, but it's like with where we're at this year, it
kind of hurts more.
Yeah. It's just kind of like, let's just add fuel to the fire,
And let's just go ahead and say this. The Titans did pick up somebody, Mike Edwards, from the Buffalo Bills, who has 2 Super Bowls under the belt, one with Tampa, and then one with Kansas City last year.
Yeah.
But more into the Titans Chargers game, presented by Expedia. Here are the individual stats. Starting with the LA Chargers. I'm going to go full screen for Tyler.
Do you want me to go through these?
14 of 18. 164. Huh?
No, you're just highlighting that one, right? Let's see.
Yeah, that was the big one because
it's pulled up now. I just had a glitch. We're good. My bad.
14 of 18, 164, and 1 touchdown. Then their running game was dominant. Gus Edwards, 10 for 55. J.K. Dobbins, 15 for 50. Josh Palmer. All Vols fans know him. 1 catch for 36. And then, like, you look at their defense, the two numbers that are highlighted. Bud Dupree, former Titans edge rusher, had 2 sacks on the day. But altogether, collectively, this defense had 7 sacks.
Yeah. And that's a problem.
Yeah. And then the thing that we're going to hound on again this week, special teams.
Yeah, we're going to get into that after. Yeah, because we got some things to say about this.
Darius Davis, 1 kick return for 56 yards. 56 yards.
I mean,
should I just go in on this now?
Yeah,
should we just go in on this now?
Yeah, I think it's time. I think it's time.
Callahan.
Again, how many times do we have to have these conversations when we do this pod, dude? It's literally, Lee, we have to have
every week.
It's every week. Me and you have to go on a soapbox like we are now. Thank you. Thank you, Titans. Thank you, Callahan. Honestly, the special teams coach has got to go. I'm sick of watching it. You're sick of watching it. And I guarantee you, all of our listeners and any fan of the Titans
fans in general are tired of watching it.
I mean, especially with this new kickoff rule, like you said, Morocco from TCP, he's tired of it too. Just kick it out of the end zone. We don't even need it.
He was there.
He was there at the game. Yeah, shout out Morocco from the TCP, by the way. But yeah, I mean, it's just bad, man. But honestly, I think that kick return that was that 56. Go ahead.
Some breaking news out of Williamson County, Tennessee. Independence fired Coach Scott Stidham after 3 seasons.
Yeah. I went there.
And 3 playoff berths.
What'd you say?
He had 3 seasons and 3 playoff berths.
Yeah. Indy wants to win, though. I went there, and that's how it goes there. Yeah.
So I'm like, wow. I just happened to grab my phone and see the Twitter notification.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Cole Anderson, Callahan, Callie. Cole Anderson has to go. He's what's hurting this team when it comes to special teams.
Honestly, Lee, it's kind of like we were talking about it. I was watching the game.
Callahan's too blind.
I was watching the games with a Packers fan, okay? But she's nice enough to watch Titans games with me sometimes. So, look, here's how it goes. She literally yesterday at one point looked at me and said these exact words. She goes, "Oh my gosh, it hurts me so bad to see you so disappointed." And I was like, yeah, this is me every Sunday watching the Titans game. It's like I lost my best friend. It's like I lost my favorite dog.
It's like a weekly thing.
It's like my 4-year-old daughter with her stuffed animals. If she can't find one or if she forgets it at my house before she goes back, it's a whole conniption. That's how I feel every Sunday watching these Titans.
But Titans, here's the Titans side of this. I'm gonna jump on this before I go to that. What I saw out of Will Levis, and we'll get into more of this stuff later on, after we get through all the Titan stats and the combined team stats.
Yeah.
But Will Levis, his first start in 3 weeks, 18 of 23, 175, and 2 touchdowns. I'll take that out of Will Levis. I'll take that. At least he didn't turn the ball over. Tajay Spears 7-for-47. Tony Pollard 9-for-44. Will Levis 5-for-44. But looky there, number 0, Calvin Ridley.
Hey, Lee, I have a question.
9 targets.
Can I interrupt you on that first one real quick? Hey, did you start him this week in fantasy? Did you start him this week in fantasy?
Come on now. Why are you rubbing it in for?
Hey, you know I love you. You know you're
Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley, 5 catches, 9 targets for 84 yards and both touchdowns, including basically the final one of the game. NWI. We talked about this beforehand. The dude needs more targets.
He's got to get more targets. Because guess what? Once again, receptions 3, targets 3. The dude's not dropping balls. No,
for 31 yards.
Yeah, he's not. He's doing good. He doesn't drop balls, man.
Undrafted free agent Bryce Oliver, 2 catches on 2 targets for 23. Tony Pollard, 4 catches, 4 targets, 19. Chiriconqua, 1 catch for 1 target for 14. Tajay Spears, 3 catches on 3 targets for 4 yards. But we have talked one at the very bottom, Josh Wiley.
Yeah, can we talk about that, Lee? Because we talked about it before. Why are we throwing
exactly?
Why are we throwing on 3rd down? I can't remember exactly what it was. 3rd and whatever. Why are we throwing a fade? Like literally,
it was 3rd and goal.
Like Madden play. Drop back.
It was 3rd and goal.
Great. Yeah, it was 3rd and goal, and we're doing that. I'm like, Ridley, NWI. I would rather NWI. I don't care, but what are we doing here? I know Wiley has height, but
we didn't run that. We didn't run that type of crap with DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, we didn't.
But you're wanting to run that with Josh Wiley, Callahan.
That makes a lot of sense,
man.
Right? Come on, man. Exactly. I mean, it's just
a little come on, man segment.
Absolutely.
Defensively,
Gibby.
Can we talk about Dr. Gibby? 15 total tackles. 10 of those 15 were solo.
Yeah.
He led the team in tackles. Pass deflections. We had 3. Jeffrey Simmons, Roger McCreary, and Daryl Baker, who's filling in for the injured L'Jarius Sneed, which this is the 4th week in a row without Sneed.
Yeah.
So Sneed hasn't played in a month.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, you can tell. You can see it. I know he had the bad game against the Colts. You know, he gave up that touchdown to Pittman or whatever. But at the end of the day, like, it just goes to show that
in the game we could have won.
He is a dog. Somebody else that me and Lee have talked about a lot. Brownlee. I think Brownlee. I don't understand his size.
JBJ.
But when he does, like, actually, like, he's laying the wood to people. I mean, he is coming in hot, and his plays, his tackles, they're impactful. They're on 3rd downs.
I wish I would have found that clip.
Yeah, he's sticking people. I mean, I know exactly the play you're talking about. But Brownlee, if everything goes to plan, I think he gets re-signed after his rookie. If he keeps his stuff up, I have all the faith in him.
Yeah.
But without Sneed and what's going on with Cheeto? What's going on with Cheeto?
He's still on IR.
Yeah,
he's still on IR.
Is this different? Yeah, I know. Yeah, and that's a soft tissue issue. So then you've got a whole. We know about those. Titans know about all the soft tissue issues because that's what it's even AJ Brown, even Julio Jones when he was here with the hamstring, anything like that, the Titans are very familiar with that. Yeah, miss those days, right? But yeah, I mean, I just think who knows what just those two cornerbacks alone.
Teams. I would have to say this. Our MVP, if we had stopped getting long returns, would be Ryan Stonehouse.
And that's the sad thing is I used to say that about Brent Kern when he was with the Titans.
4 punts, 214 total yards, with an average of 53.5, which 3 of the 4 punts landed inside of the 20.
I mean, that's good. That's 75. I mean, that's 75% right there. On the 20, I mean,
they're getting the long returns on it.
Yeah, and I know that's kind of the debate on whether or not, whose fault it is. Because then you've got people saying, oh, well, his hang time is this. His hang time's not enough. His hang time's, it's like, what is it, But yeah, did you want to get into the team stuff real quick before we get into the kind of meat and potatoes of everything?
Let me just keep full screen on this. The stuff highlighted in red was, in my opinion, the bad stuff from this show or from this game. First downs. The Chargers had 23 first downs. 23. They had 309 yards of total offense. I thought we were supposed to have the number 1 defense in the league.
Yeah, I'm not sure, man. I'm confused. Things didn't happen like they normally do today. Actually, do you want to talk about the quote that you saw? I can't remember who you said it was by, but somebody put it pretty good. It's like Denard Wilson is legit. He's great, but he's what did you say? He's playing with the Baltimore.
So it was the commentators during the game.
That's what
it was. The commentators during the game. Yeah. So they made the statement that Denard Wilson, who's the Titans defensive coordinator, he coaches the Baltimore style defense, but he's wanting us to play Tennessee ball, not Baltimore ball.
Yeah, he's like, send the dogs. Like if you gotta, and that's there was send the dogs every play. I don't even care. Yeah, well, like literally.
Here's your boy.
But here's the thing, Lee.
Here's your boy. When did it become illegal to kick out of bounds?
Seriously, no. Thank you, Josh. Shout out to. By the way, Josh will be on the podcast soon. But yeah,
eventually.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, I don't understand. Kick it out of the back of the end zone, then we don't have any issues. I would rather that. I would rather give it to him.
Punt it out of bounds.
Yeah,
out of bounds.
I don't even care, but not on our side of the field. Punt, kick, I don't care what it is. So yeah.
But then you get to more of this. Will Levis was 18 of 23, which I'm cool with. But the yards per pass, in my opinion, need to come up. 5.2 is not going to get it done.
Yeah.
The sack numbers, and I have stuff from Callahan's press conference later.
Yeah.
17 sacks for 18 yards. Yards per rush, 6.3. That red zone number we need to fix. The Titans were 1 for 3 in the red zone yesterday. That other number, 9 for 68, 9 penalties for 68 yards.
Yeah.
But no fumbles lost, no interceptions thrown by either team.
Well,
But I'm glad that we were right there. I'm glad we were right there in time of possession.
Yeah, and Lee, can we kind of talk about, and I want to know anybody that's listening, opinions, whatever, anybody in the comments, even if you rewatch this, let us know, give us a comment. I want to, and I've already seen them. I feel like for the first time in a long time, when I was watching the game yesterday, who I was watching it with, I actually told him the same thing. First time in a while, I was like, it kind of seems like the refs are screwing us a little bit. I think if we actually get that touchdown, Josh, that's classic. But yeah, I think for once I will say the refs didn't do us any favors yesterday. And normally I don't make excuses for refs. I played ball. I ref certain things.
The fumble.
And thank you, Tom Brady, for the tuck rule and all of that stuff. But that wasn't even a tuck rule type thing. So I don't understand. That wasn't even in the same sense of the snow game. Like, I don't understand. To me, it still looked like he caused it to fall. Like, I don't feel like that. I don't know. All I'm trying to say is, at the end of the day, I believe that should have been a fumble and a touchdown. Like I said, I'm not an expert, but that is where I'm at for sure. And I kind of stand by that unless somebody can tell me different. Were you on that lead? Pretty much it was a fumble too.
Yeah, I'm trying to go find that video.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, it was pretty much straightforward.
But that, I'm baffled because you could have also got an offensive holding because they literally had Steph in a headlock.
Yeah.
But before we go into good, bad, and ugly, I want to go into this.
This is very interesting stat right here. But there's a but to this, which I hate the word but there is a but to that. I really I hate it. I hate that word in multiple ways, but yeah.
But what was that but?
Well, before you bring the stat up, I get what you're saying, but any quarterback that gets sacked that many times, I don't care who the quarterback is, man. At the end of the day, they're going to struggle. And I do understand because people need to remember this because now everybody's like, oh, we shouldn't have let go of Malik, right?
Breaking news. Tyler is not a butt guy.
I love it. He's awesome, dude. I'm telling you. But here's the thing. So within that stat, honestly, any quarterback that gets sacked that many times is not going to have much success. I understand the stat we're about to pull up, and Lee will go more into it after I get done on my rant. But I know he's not getting rid of the ball as quick as he should. I understand that. But all these people, I want to say that were saying we shouldn't have let go of Malik because he went out and did what he did at Green Bay and all of this stuff. One of the biggest complaints people had on Malik was he held onto the ball too long and he didn't make decisions quick enough. But then as soon as he leaves and has success at another team, Titans fans, I hate to tell you, that's happened. Haskins scored a touchdown on us this week. I mean, come on. So we've all got to think about this here. But go ahead with the stat. But I'm just saying, bottom line, our quarterback play, no matter what, is garbage, and it has been. So, I mean, but go ahead with the stat.
Before I do that, I'm going to bring this call. Do you guys think it's a processing issue as far as reading the defense, or is it a separation issue? And the Titans had worse separation last year in the league.
That's a fair statement. It's a very fair statement. Yeah. Dang, that really like took a turn, didn't it? I'm like sitting here and I'm like, I mean, Ridley gets separation. I mean, if you see this year, the thing is, I'd be interesting to see where that stat is.
I feel like
for us this year, because there have been a lot of plays and a lot of breakdowns that have happened to where when he did start before he got injured, they would be like still images, and the separation on almost damn near all our receivers had a good separation. But to his point,
so he is right. Reading.
I would probably say, I think last year different. This year, I do think it's more of a reading issue.
So
I just think
want to bring this stat up before we go into this. The average quarterback release time in the NFL is 2.69. However, some say the benchmark is 2.5 seconds. And anything longer is a luxury. A faster release time can help quarterbacks avoid having the ball batted down at the line, and give them more time to make the right read.
Yeah.
The top 4 quarterbacks, or 4 of the top 8 quarterbacks, Jordan Love has a passing grade of 80.6. That's 5th. Josh Allen has a passing grade of 79.9. That's 6th. Jalen Hurts has a passing grade of 79.7. That's 7th. Jake Browning has a passing grade of 79.0. That's 8th in the league. Now, let's dive into Levis and Rudolph. Will Levis, his time to throw is 2.87 in week 10. That's the 12th slowest in the NFL among starters. And then Mason Rudolph, in his 4 appearances this season, his time to throw is 2.63. Pressure to sack in week 10 on Will Levis was 50%, which is the worst in the NFL in week 10. In Rudolph's 4 appearances, his pressure to sack was 11.6. So, Tyler, what does that tell you right there?
I get that. Honestly, like, I'll keep it pretty short and sweet, man. We kind of talk. I mean, at the end of the day, we look at this and I understand like what this stat says. Absolutely. But also I will say, I don't know if it's play calling. I don't know if it's what. Also, Mason has more experience.
But Mason's better.
Mason,
and that's what Callahan said today.
Here's basically what I'm saying is Mason has more experience under his belt. Actually, Josh, that was commenting on stuff. He actually brought a good point up before. He said, why can't we develop these young quarterbacks? We've just not been good at it as an organization. No matter it doesn't matter who. I mean, think about it. Like Tannehill came in with experience, and kind of Tannehill did his thing. We went to an AFC Championship.
His first year.
Yeah, there has to be there's a development issue within this Titans organization altogether. And with our record right now, like it's like we always talk about, like me and you both, like we're big, like we like show these stats and stuff, but we're getting to that point now to where like, I mean, if we're not winning games, it's like we got to start diving deeper, even deeper than this. And we've kind of gone back to it. I think it's more of an organizational issue. Outside of just the players on the field. It's sacks too. I mean, at the end of the day, our in words of you, our offensive line was booty cheeks this week. Like, regardless, So yeah, man, I don't know. I just think it's tough right now. Because I will say, Levis in that first half, you remember what I texted you, Lee? I was like, what Levis is this? It was my text to you. I said, who is he? Threw a beautiful over the shoulder to Ridley. He was doing good. I loved, and I said, I know people hate on him for this. I think Will Levis should run more. At this point in the season,
exactly.
I like when he runs. I like the design run that we had.
And Joshua,
I
have no idea. I just tried to find it. So
yeah, I'd have to look that
sacks
up. But
taken this season, Levis in his 148 passing attempts, he has been sacked 22 times. Mason Rudolph in 128 passing attempts has been sacked 6.
Yeah, it's definitely a problem.
So
and I'm not, and by no means do I like. I do think that Rudolph has had a little bit better success than Levis this year, but at the same time, I don't think either one of these. To be honest, I don't think either one of these quarterbacks are our future. Which I know we're going to get into some draft stuff here in a bit, which is going to be my favorite segment to get into for multiple reasons. But we could literally have a whole podcast just on that, with how bad the entire NFL is and how much our pick is probably going to be changing. So we'll get there.
I have a couple of notes from Callahan's press conference. The Titans had 11 negative plays between penalties and sacks, and Callahan said that makes things difficult. Quarterback Will Levis was sacked 7 times in Sunday's game. Callahan said we have to do a better job protecting and blocking people in front of us, and we have to do a better job at getting the ball out when guys are available. It's a combination of things.
I feel like Callahan's pressers confuse me sometimes. I feel
it's
like
generic coach talk.
It is, but at the same time, I feel like he's like quietly like trying to like he's kind of passive aggressive. He's passive aggressive. We've all worked with people in
like
industries and stuff. I don't know. I wouldn't say that about Vrabel. Passive aggressive in the way of he's kind of taking shots at people. Like basically, we have to do a better job of getting the ball out quicker. All right, and the way I take
that's taking a shot at Levis.
Okay. So he's trying. It's passive aggressive, and I understand you got to like be careful as a head coach because you don't want to throw anybody under the bus. But he's had a couple of these.
Which you hypothetically are.
Hey, think about it. Special teams. Well, talking about the hang time with Stonehouse, and then stuff of that matter. Callahan. All I'm saying, and the only thing I really have to say to it, I think sometimes I feel like he's in no man's land and just trying to like make it through. Exactly. Yeah, that's why I was like, yeah, I was about to say like Vrabel was not passive aggressive at all. Yeah, you will be, man. But yeah, I'm telling you, it's I don't like how he's like. It's like he's taking shots at people, but not because honestly. When he talks like that, how I take it, Lee, is he doesn't know what the heck he's talking about, to be honest. I'm just be real. It's like he's in turmoil. He's probably scared for his job as well, which rightfully so. I think he should be.
So
I know other people have different opinions.
Let's go ahead. So I have a clip from his presser yesterday.
Okay. And I'll be right back after that.
Look, we just had a hard time getting the quarterback down. He got out a few times, made some runs. They're a bleed offense, and they suck the air out of the game. That's what Greg Roman and Jim Harbaugh have done forever. They run the ball well, and it wasn't anything. There was nothing big. It was just a steady. It's like death by 1,000 paper cuts when you play that way, and we just kind of gave up just enough yards every time to on a 95-yard drive, allow them to go punch it in for 7 when we had them backed up on the 5, which, I don't know. We've done a lot of that this year. And so to not have that field position, not get that stop, and see them just sort of plug away down the field was just haven't seen that a lot against our defense. They've been pretty stout, and we weren't good enough today.
And so, as Callahan said, teams typically can't do that against our defense. And so I want to bring up the stat is how do we have the number one defense when teams have been able to do that?
Yeah. At the end of the day, man, it's like I'm going to keep saying, man, at the end of the day, I understand the stats like that. It's all good, but we're not winning games.
Exactly.
It really does come down to that to me at this point. We're not winning.
Another note from Callie's press conference today. Callahan said the left side offensive line, tackle J.C. Latham and guard Peter Skoronski had solid performances, and Daniel Brunskill in relief stepping up at center in a big way. He said, but obviously our issues on the right side continue, he said. We weren't good enough there at all.
Yeah, and that's kind of when we're going to get into the draft talk about kind of that question we're going to talk about tonight. I can't see it, man. My
game
computer
is 3 phases.
The
game is 3 phases in the third.
Right, exactly. Heck yeah, man. That's great.
But a guy that in Terrell Dotson.
Oh, yeah, for sure, man. He went
released.
To Centennial here.
Got released.
Yeah.
He got released by Seattle. Brady Henderson, who I'm guessing covers the Seahawks, said another major shakeup to the Seahawks inside linebacker core. I'm told they plan to release Tyrell Dodson, who started all 9 games this season. So Justin Mellon made this statement. If the Titans are interested in more linebacker help, this is a fairly shocking move by the Seahawks. Someone replied to Justin Miller, said the Titans could use some sub-backers for passing downs. Gibbons and Murray aren't suited for playing in space. Would love to see Gray and Baker get some run-ins on those downs, or if we wanted to have some real fun, try James Williams. Justin Miller ended by saying this: "We need to see Gray before this season ends."
Yeah, and Lee, that's kind of my thing. I mean, you've been talked about it. It's literally been. I mean, all off season, honestly, when we had our
we've been hearing about how great Cedric Gray.
He was, like everybody talked about, he was going to be the green dot, which we've all said at this point, the green dot thing is probably a little over, not for him, but just in general, that
overrated
is overrated a little bit. But apparently, honestly, from highlights I saw of him and everything, in college, I still don't, none of us do. We do, and that answer is true. We got to see him because I want to pump the brakes on. At the end of the day, right now, I think our issues go from our offensive line on the right side and our quarterback situation right now. Outside of that, I mean, we're just not a good team right now. But I'm more concerned about the offense for sure.
And the next segment, Good, Bad, Ugly, presented by Expedia. The good, and I think, Tyler, you and I agree on this. For this being his first game back in 3 weeks, Levis had a good performance.
Yeah, I mean, every time we do this segment, that's sponsored by SeatGeek, and we do this and everything, it's hard because we don't have a lot of good to talk about, and we lost the game. But I will basically, with the reason that me and Lee decided to put this as good is Levis did have a better performance when he came out this week than I thought he would have.
No
honestly,
interceptions.
the fumble that he had that Latham recovered and the big boy went a yard or two, which was awesome. That was one of the highlights of the game for me.
Rumble, big boy rumble.
But once again, I don't really think that was Levis's fault. But at the end of the day, he didn't throw an interception. He did show some composure more than we've seen probably all year. So, like I said, it's hard. It's hard as a Titans fan to say anything really good, but I think I would agree with that. I mean, what are we going to say is good? You know, I mean, it's hard now, but yes, that would be it.
For us, the bad thing is the Titans can't finish.
And
you texted me yesterday asking, can the Titans play 4 quarters?
My exact text, I think, was, I said, I am praying to baby Jesus right now that the Titans can actually play 4 quarters today. Literally. That was.
Joshua said dark times when we are celebrating better.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, exactly. It's true. Yeah.
And ugly special teams.
Yeah. And man, it's so hard. Like,
teams is hideous.
And just so everybody knows, and all the listeners out there, when we do this segment, I want everybody to know something. Me and Lee know that we're kind of repetitive on the good, bad, and the ugly. But I think everybody that's a true Titans fan and like watches every game from the start to the finish, no matter how bad we're getting beat, the true fans will stand out and understand that they understand why we do that. Because the special teams coordinator's got to get fired. He has to. And it's really hard for us as content creators and to do a pod and we're not going to be like fluff and like, we're going to be honest with y'all. And that's why a lot of that's the same every week, because it's literally the same stuff we're all watching. So if anybody's ever curious about that, that's why, because it's bad. The special teams, I mean, I honestly, Lee, let me know your opinion on this. That return that happened, I think it was a third quarter, right? That 56-yard return. I think it was a third quarter.
I think so.
I think it was a third quarter. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but I think just something that moment of that spark, the momentum just shifted.
That's what ended
already. Yeah, and I also think the whole fumble situation right before the end of the half could have been something too. But it's special teams. I actually had gotten up to go to the bathroom during that play, walk back in, and I see Nick Folk chasing the returner, and I'm like, that's never good when you see your kicker in the view of where the returner is on it. It's not good. So it's yeah.
So this right here was from before this game against the LA Rams. Titans sacks allowed
Chargers
this season. Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's yeah.
But Titans sacks allowed this season. This team in the first 3 games allowed 15 sacks. The last 5 games before this game, the Titans had allowed 6 sacks in 5 games. That's the least amount of sacks in the last month.
And then that happened.
We go allow 7. So we've allowed 28 sacks this year.
That's what I'm saying, man. And I wish actually might try to see what I can do and see what I can like pull. And if I could get just, even if it's just somebody that's like college quarterback or anything that's played quarterback can maybe elaborate that more to me. But I think it's really hard when you see those numbers to put every single thing on just the quarterback. Like that offensive line, like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, that's a lot, dude. That's a lot of sacks. You said 28?
28
on the year. 28, man. Like, I mean,
and
I don't care. I don't care if it's Tom Brady back there. I don't care if it's
games.
Mahomes even. I mean, that's just I think that's a problem. And so that's why, like, when we get into that draft talk, we got some decisions to make during this draft season coming up.
Joshua said this team is in a phase where it is obviously building depth, in my opinion. There aren't any special teams guys on this roster yet. What do you guys think?
I'll tell you right now, Josh,
like
and there's one guy that I actually know personally, Colton Dow. And he's obviously, you're right, he's been out all year. He has not played, but if you remember last year, he was around the ball every single time that kick landed.
Exactly.
But yeah, you're right. We don't have, I mean, we've got tight ends out there. You know, we don't have like that stud out there. You know who would actually be great that we lost in the preseason that had a great preseason? And Lee, help me out. Linebacker. He was a great special teams player too. I'm gonna look it up. It's gonna drive me nuts. Who am I talking about, Lee? You know exactly who I'm talking about right now. Oh my gosh, this is killing me.
It's gonna drive us crazy.
It is gonna literally drive me nuts. I got it right here. It is. This is. I'm so sorry to all the listeners. Chance Campbell.
Yeah.
Chance Campbell, great special teams guy. Really, actually, kind of thought he might.
Dude was a stud linebacker.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But like, we don't have anybody that's like, yeah.
Dowell is a special teams beast. Need him that bad.
Yes, we do. And
Ola Adani.
Podcast that has said
Ola Adani.
I mean, yeah, keep it going. Yeah, we just don't. And I don't like trying to people to. Oh, here we go. Well, sorry, you just teased it. Let's just go ahead and bring it up because this is what I've been excited for.
So, going into the Charger game,
after the 1 o'clock games, remember, guys, after that this is not as Sunday started. This was after the 1 o'clock games, the one on the left.
So, going into Sunday, we were picking 9. Going into the late games on Sunday, we moved from 9th to 6th. With that loss to the Charger, we moved from 6th to 3rd. So,
here we go. All right.
If you look at the before the Chargers game, the early window,
yeah,
Jacksonville 1, Giants 2, Vegas 3, Cleveland 4, Miami 5.
Yeah.
And we even said this. Jacksonville doesn't take a quarterback. They don't.
No, because which they've got to be kicking themselves for that. The Giants probably taking a quarterback.
Vegas, definitely. Cleveland, definitely.
If Tua stays healthy, Miami will not take a quarterback.
But if you go to after the Chargers, Jaguars still don't take a quarterback. Giants, maybe. Us, maybe.
We're going to get into that.
Cleveland, yes. Vegas, yes.
Okay, so also, and I talked to Lee about this, I can't remember the last time that the NFL in general was, I mean,
this bad.
2-8, and I'm not even going to say the team names, but just from the bottom to 2-8, 2-8, 2-7, 2-7, 2-7, 2-6, 3-7, 3-7, 3-7, 3-6. Top, I mean, literally, this is going to get shifted multiple times
between now and the end of the season,
because it's rough, man. I mean, and especially it's crazy. The
conversation.
Go ahead.
And this is what Tyler and I were talking about before the show. If the Titans stay there at 3rd, where do we go? Do we go quarterback? Or do we look at shoring up that right side?
Okay, so let's just hypothetically for me, I think, okay, if it stayed like this on the right as I'm going through it, Jacksonville probably takes Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
The Giant, like I'm saying, if it stayed like this, the Giants are going to take Shador or Cam Ward.
Why Shador?
Now here's where we come in. Let's say we stuck at 3. Our right side, and our offensive line still needs a lot of work, but
I made this statement.
So do we? Go ahead.
And it's dealing with that right side.
Yeah.
Right now we're rotating Leroy Watson and John Ojukwu.
Yeah.
At right tackle.
Yeah.
Radens is solidified right there at right guard.
Yeah.
But you also have NPF. You got Jalen Duncan. You got 4 guys right there at right tackle.
Yeah,
2 of them are not even playing.
Yeah.
The question is, or the statement I made was, I think if we go tackle right there on the right side, you could see Dylan Radens' play ability go higher.
If he has a stud, if Dylan Radens has a stud beside him, I could see that happening. I really could. Radens actually has kind of surprised me a little bit earlier in this, But if we went that route, do we try to trade up? When I say trade up, I meant, or do we try to get another
trade
pick
back?
In this first? Yeah, trade back to get. Well, no, I'm saying to get a pick in this first round. To get 2 picks in the first round. And if we do that, then that's when we get a quarterback.
No.
Or do you literally just say we'll figure the quarterback thing out and tank, and basically, I'm not saying tank on purpose, but basically still rebuild next year, but get our line fixed at least, and then give that up.
I think that's where you would lean. Joshua just asked a very good question. Who are the available right tackles this offseason?
And I'm guessing he means in free agency.
Yeah. So I'm looking at that.
I would have to look that up.
Right tackles available. There's only 8 right tackles available. Morgan Moses, who is almost 34. He's with the Jets right now. Trent Brown, who will be 32, who's in Cincy. Mekhi Becton, who will be 26, who's in Philly. I'm staying away from one of these, and it's Kendall Lamb.
Yeah. Well, we've been there, done that.
David Quessenberry.
But what's his age now?
Who will be 30? Huh?
That's what I was going to ask. Like, what was his age?
34 when free agency starts.
Yeah.
He's in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Storm Norton. Never heard of him. 30.
I love you, dude.
In Atlanta. Raven Clark, who was here last season. 31 or 32. He's in Philadelphia. James Hudson, who will be 25, and he is in Cleveland.
Yeah, like I probably think I know why you asked that question, because I don't know, maybe if he's still watching, he can. I'm wondering if he's wanting to for sure 100% go quarterback. I just don't know what direction it's going to go. And also, Lee, like I said,
he said,
for right tackle,
I feel it's cheaper to trade for a right tackle than another first tackle.
No, that's facts. Yeah, no, I think that's true.
But we're wanting to build it for the future.
Yeah.
The way I'm looking at this is, you want to build for the future.
Yeah, but also too, I said, let's say like things happen, and this is another hypothetical question that and it's not actually that big of a hypothetical when
NFL,
it. Yeah,
NFL, that list is trash.
exactly. If you think about it,
That's why I'm
if,
thinking you go draft one and develop.
this is like what I want everybody to think about though, because we're all talking about these picks, right? And this is what I told you right before we did the pod, which I know, and to everybody, we will have like when it gets, after the season, we'll have a draft special and everything. But what if we had
Do you
the
want to
number
run through
one
some of these names?
in 1 second? I want to ask this first. If we, oh, actually, are you going to run through the first top 10 picks on all positions?
I can. I was looking at tackle.
Or that, I mean, either one, but basically what I was going to say is
at all.
Go ahead.
At all positions, you
do
have
that.
Travis Hunter out of Colorado at 1. Will Johnson, corner out of Michigan at 2. Mason Graham, defensive lineman out of Michigan at 3. McMillan, the wide receiver out of Arizona, 4. Will Campbell, tackle LSU at 5. Cam Ward, quarterback out of Miami at 6. Michael Williams, edge rusher out of Georgia at 7. Deion Walker, defensive lineman out of Kentucky at 8. Shador at 9. Kelvin Banks, tackle out of Texas at 10.
Okay, so here's my question with that list to anybody that listens to this. Comment on our socials, whatever. I want to know. What if we did get let's say like we were the worst team, that we get the number 1 pick. Let's say it does hypothetically happen, which is, it's not that far off. It could definitely possibly happen.
We're a half game back.
What do you do if we have the number 1 overall pick as a Titans fan? Do you go best available and just forget position altogether and just take what the number 1 person is? Or do you go kind of,
position
tackle or something, position of need, which quarterback, we got a lot of quarterbacks in that high thing. So I think we would probably take a quarterback if we had one. But I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of different stuff with how this is flip-flopping. I mean, it's still like we went from 9 to after a 6 after the early games to now after the week is over 3.
I
mean,
here's a scenario.
Wait, hold on. Does he mean trade? Like trade our? Oh, I see. He means trade our first round pick if we had the number 1 overall. Is what he's saying. I think.
Yeah. There are only 10 quarterbacks in this draft class.
Yeah, I know, and that's what makes it hard.
Quinn Ewers, Carson Beck, Jalen Milroe, Garrett Nussmeier, Drew Aller, Kyle McCord, Miller Moss, and Jackson Dart. What I would do is I would go tackle first round. Trade back in the first round, try to get another first for next year.
Yeah, because man,
Kelvin Banks, like if you can trade back to 4 or 5, get Kelvin Banks.
Yeah.
And then third round, go try to get a guy like a Drew Aller out of Penn State.
It's so hard because I think as Titans fans, like when we had that success a couple years ago, we're trying to get back there.
A guy like Jackson Dart.
Or I feel like, I mean, I don't. Then again, I think that would kind of be like another Levis situation, or I don't know. Yeah, he's saying it trade the pick. I mean, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to say.
My top 3 quarterbacks, if we do trade, we won't have a shot at Shador. We won't have a shot at Cam Ward. We won't have a shot at Ewers. I would say Garrett Nussmeier, maybe, out of LSU, 6'2", 200. Drew Aller, 6'5", 235.
Honestly, if we can't get Cam Ward or Shador, I'm honestly kind of saying hell with it, to be honest, when it comes to the quarterback thing. And we'll just figure that out. And just because, I don't have faith.
Well,
like, I'm deaf. Like, I
look at the market.
I mean, if that's what we do, that's fine. But, I mean, we've got within Cam Ward, and I'm way more of a Cam Ward guy than I am Shador. As we all know, I've spoke about that a lot, just because of a locker room cancer situation,
So,
I think. But
there are 31 quarterbacks out there in free agency next year.
Yeah.
I would not go after Sam Darnold. He's going to cost too much.
Well, I think he's getting up there too. Yeah.
Trey Lance, maybe.
I mean, Cooper Rush. I mean, wait, is he still in Dallas?
Yeah, he's the backup now.
But then why did Cooper Rush start?
Cooper Rush start. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So he was third string. I don't want Trey Lance. Yeah.
Jacoby Brissett.
I mean, that's just he's a journeyman at this point.
Bring back Marcus.
You know what? For what's and giggles, I'd probably just be like, hey, if we, I mean, I'm just saying, I don't have a lot of faith in that we're gonna have any success like soon. So I mean, I'm kind of like,
yes.
Okay, so me and Josh talked about this. He keeps saying it. He's like, Pavia for president. That's hilarious. Dude is suing, by the way, which is crazy. Trying to get, what is it, 2 more years or 1 more year?
2 more.
Yeah.
5-pick Lance.
Yeah.
Andy Dalton.
No.
Jimmy Garoppolo. Joe Flacco.
I mean, the names we're talking about though right now, if we were to do that, it would just be like a one year deal type situation.
A bridge type thing, yeah.
A bridge, yeah, like literally like how, like, what was it? Isn't that what Rivers did for the Colts? Basically, was like 1 year.
Yeah.
Or it was just one. He did, yeah.
There's a name on this list that is actually very cheap. Weird. It's weird too because of who it is.
Who is it?
Russell Wilson.
Oh man. Yeah, like we're talking like this is like that if we don't take a quarterback talk right here, man. That's tough.
Or Tommy DeVito.
No.
Or just keep Mason Rudolph.
For one more, just to, I mean.
Yeah.
I like I said, this is all hypothetical if we somehow didn't get a quarterback. I don't see us not getting a quarterback, honestly. But at the same time, if we can't block for
that right side.
If we can't block for whoever the quarterback is, I don't care who the quarterback is.
Russ would be fun.
That's interesting. That's an interest. I will say it's, yeah, with Diego's backup.
With Diego's backup.
That's awesome.
Dude, if Pavia cannot get his 2 years of eligibility, I'll be okay with him coming from the West End.
I mean, honestly, like, I'm not saying he'd be our future by any means, but, I mean, dude, he beat Bama and put up 40 points on Bama. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. But like this is not a deep offensive tackle class either. So I'm thinking, actually, it is. It's 12 players, 12 tackles on this board.
Is that in like the top 30 or whatever? Or
the
is
top
that
3 guys? My top 3 tackles. No, that's out of the top 100. There are 12 tackles. That's it.
Oh, dude, that's not. Yeah, I don't like that.
There's only 12.
Yeah,
that's why
dude,
I say
it's
go
tough,
get.
man.
If you're
it's
top
tough.
5, Yes. If you fix the line, Rudolph is a playoff quarterback. He possesses the clutch gene. I need it in my
Josh, he also had told me that that's how he feels about Pavia.
Yes.
He said he has the clutch gene.
So my top 3 tackles, just based on tangibles. Will Campbell out of LSU, 6'6", 323.
God, that's a big boy.
Kelvin Banks out of Texas, 6'4", 320. And then Cameron Williams out of Texas.
Yeah,
6'5", 335.
Yeah. Because it's kind of like the same thing with the quarterback thing almost in my head. It's like, if it's not any of those 3, that's why it's so weird, because I'm not used to us being like this high, and we're going to be. I mean, I'll just go ahead and say it now. I think we may. Yeah, that's what I meant, Josh. Yeah, that's who I was talking about, Josh. But yeah, like seeing this, like, I mean, I'm not used to us having this high of a pick, and it's new.
Like, we haven't had this high of a pick. We haven't had a top 5 pick
since we got Marcus.
Since the 2015 season.
Yeah.
But is there anything else we want to add to this before we close up shop?
No, man, this has been a great pod. We are so glad to be back. Once again, shout out to all the veterans out there.
Hey, can we just go across? Can we just go overseas for one clip?
Oh yeah, this was just to end on a funny.
From Giants Panthers in Munich, Germany. We have to hear from Sean Hockley.
Verstaat, Angriff.
Oh.
5 yards treffen. It's by the center. It's 3rd down.
Oh, look at Sean Hockley.
There we go.
Showing up.
Yeah. What? Yeah. It was on the center. I got that part. German. Yeah, but it was on the center. I did get that part. So
you're like, wait, what? I don't understand
exactly.
any of this.
I know, right?
But it was great to see that come out of his mouth in German.
Yeah.
He probably had to learn all that before going over there.
Or he knew it. I don't know. It sounded pretty fluent to me. I don't know.
But, man, this has been real.
Oh, yeah, it's been a good one. We're glad to be back. Yep, absolutely.
We'll be back Thursday night to get you ready for Titans Vikings.
Yes. Which is going to be an interesting one again, like they all are.
Can we win another one? I don't think so.
I think we might split with the Jags, but other than that, I think we got another 1, maybe 2, and that'll be it.
You know a Hockley has to flex.
Oh, yeah.
His dad did it in 05.
Yeah, that's great.
But, Titans fans, we're closing up shop. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Stay classy and tighten up.
Tighten up.
Let's get tightened up. Tightened up.
I've been scoping from the sideline, waiting for the right time to send the freshest team to scrimmage. So I'm busting y'all. Welcome to Nashville. We got this here. Don't worry about it. We got this here. Music city soul. Out till loud clear. Don't worry about it. See, we got this here. It's a brand new dance and it's about to go live. Tighten up, Nashville. Rep the 615. First to tighten Tuesday. step, step.